Hello students, welcome back to the channel, the chapter number 14, Sources of Energy. This is the last chapter in Physics, grade 10, CBSE. So in part A, what are we going to discuss? We are going to discuss about fuels, sources of energy and conventional sources. So introduction part, energy. What is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. Check the flow chart here, renewable and non-renewable resources. So we use energy in our daily life. For what are we using energy? For cooking food, transport, lighting, running industries, agriculture and communications. The material system which provide energy are called sources of energy. The materials or system which provide energy are called sources of energy. Next comes fuels. What do you mean by fuel? It is a substance. What it does? It produces heat energy. When it will produce heat energy? On burning. Example, wood, coal, petrol, diesel, LPG, CNG and natural gas. Next, what are the characteristics of a good fuel? A good fuel should have a high calorific value. High calorific value means it must produce more heat. What it must produce? It must produce more heat and it must burn easily. It produces less smoke. It will leave little or no ash. Be cheap and easily available. It must be cheap and easily available. Be easy to transport and store. Be safe to use and it must cause minimum pollution. Not high pollution, it must cause minimum pollution. Then we will call it as to be a good fuel. Calorific value. The amount of heat produced. When the heat is produced, when you are burning, what you are burning? 1 kg of fuel. When it is burned completely, the amount of heat which is produced, we call it as calorific value, and the unit for calorific value is kilojoule per kilogram. Greater the calorific value will be called as better fuel. Sources of energy. A source of energy is anything from which what you are doing? You are getting useful energy. When you are getting useful energy from any source of energy, such as sun, coal, wind, water, petroleum, natural gas and biogas. Classification of sources of energy. How you are going to classify it? They can be classified into conventional sources and non-conventional sources. So in conventional sources, these are the traditional sources of energy which are used for many years. What are the examples? Coal, petroleum, natural gas, firewood, hydroelectric energy will come under conventional sources, which are the traditional sources of energy and which are used for many years. Next comes non-conventional sources. These are the modern, renewable and these are eco-friendly sources, students. Example, solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, tidal energy and nuclear energy. Okay. So conventional sources of energy. These sources have been used since ancient times. Examples again, fossil fuels, hydroelectric energy. So what are the advantages of using it? They are easily available, they are reliable and they produce large amounts of energy. And what are the disadvantages? They can cause pollution, limited in quantity, may get exhausted. Advantages again, they are easily available, they are reliable and they will produce large amounts of energy. Disadvantages is they will cause pollution, students, and they are limited in quantity. As they are limited in quantity, continuous use, they can be exhausted. So fossil fuels. These are formed. How they are formed? From the remains of what? Plants and animals which are buried. Where they are buried? Underground for millions of years. The dead remains of plants and animals which are buried underground for millions of years, then the fuel which are formed are called as fossil fuels. Example, coal, petroleum and natural gas. This is the flow chart of the fossil fuel. Please have a look. Next, what are the advantages of fossil fuels? They have high calorific value. We can transport them easily and they are used in industries and transport. And moreover, the disadvantages again, they cause air pollution, they will affect the greenhouse effect, and they have global warming, and they are non-renewable. Once used, you cannot use it again. Next comes your thermal power plant. A power plant where electricity is produced by burning fossil fuels. So how you are producing electricity? By burning fossil fuels. We call it as thermal power plant. The flow chart of the power plant and the working we will discuss now. Have a look at the flow chart of the power plant here. The working. Coal is burned. Next, heat converts water into steam. Then steam will rotate the turbine. Turbine rotates the generator and electricity is produced. Advantages again, it will produce large amount of electricity and it can work throughout the year. And moreover, the disadvantages. Disadvantages is again it will cause air pollution, it will emit carbon dioxide and it uses non-renewable fuels. Hydroelectric power plant. Electricity produced using flowing or falling water. How you are producing electricity here? By flowing or falling water is called hydroelectric power. Check the flow chart. Then we'll go into the working, students. Water is stored in the dam. It falls through pipes, then rotates the turbine, then generator rotates, then electricity is produced. Again, what are the advantages? It is a renewable source, no air pollution and low running cost. Then disadvantages, oh my god, it is expensive to construct. Large areas will get submerged and it will affect the wildlife and the local people. The difference between thermal and hydroelectric power plants. Thermal power plants uses coal, hydroelectric power plants uses flowing water. Thermal power plant causes pollution, hydroelectric power plant pollution free. Thermal is non-renewable, hydroelectric is renewable. Thermal is fuel required, hydroelectric no fuel is required. The important points over here. The fuel produces heat on burning, unit of calorific value, kilojoule per kg. Fossil fuels are non-renewable. Hydroelectric power is a renewable source of energy. Thermal power plants will burn coal. Why they are burning coal? To generate electricity. A small question. List any two characteristics of a good fuel. It must have high calorific value and it produces minimum pollution. When it produces minimum pollution, students, while burning. Okay? Thank you very much, students. Good day. Bye-bye. Meet you soon in part B.